I yield to Ranking Member Frost for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much for the witnesses for being here today. I'm glad that we're discussing the potential of nuclear energy. With our climate in crisis, we have to get over our addiction of fossil fuels, and diversifying our energy mix is essential for our national security and bringing down the cost of energy for Americans. I believe nuclear is part of that solution. According to one study, replacing fossil fuels with nuclear power has prevented almost 2 million deaths worldwide from air pollution, as well as 64 gigatons of carbon dioxide emissions. We're lucky that nuclear power has a strong safety record in the United States. However, though, this does not mean that it's inherently safe. It means that the rules and regulations that prevent a nuclear accident have helped us keep us safe for more than 45 years. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC, is the independent agency responsible for protecting public health and safety by regulating nuclear reactors, and the safety requirements it sets are considered the global gold standard for a reason. Before the United States became the world leader in nuclear safety regulation, loosely supervised government contractors exposed workers and the public to vast quantities of poorly stored radioactive waste at facilities across the country. Our government failed at protecting our people and exposed many communities to harm. Take, for example, the families who lived and worked around the Hanford nuclear production facility in Washington State. In the era prior to effective regulation, farm workers like Maria Niacasio and her family would drink from and bathe in river contaminated by waste from the nearby reactors and plutonium processing facilities. They ate crops that were poisoned by these facilities as well. Maria's mother died of cancer at 60, and tumors developed in both her brother's and her son's heads. We are living, as one government website explains, Maria's family, quote, and thousands of other farm workers were likely victims of the effects of radiation from the Hanford nuclear facility, end quote. We're still living with the legacy of government mismanagement and corporate issues as it relates to nuclear. But look also internationally as well. Look at the 2011 Fukushima reactor disaster in Japan. The incident forced more than 150,000 people to evacuate their homes, and the ongoing decontamination efforts are projected to continue for decades. Actually, in my first term as a new member of Congress, I had the opportunity to travel to Fukushima and spent the day there with a radiation suit on and a Geiger counter, but I learned about the lessons that Japan has learned from that disaster and how they're forging forward, especially as it relates to SMRs. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not an anti-nuclear person, but the lessons from history are clear. The nuclear industry must be well regulated. Only then can nuclear energy play a role in powering our economy, fighting the climate crisis, and reducing deaths from fossil fuel pollution. Predictably, the Trump administration is putting these possibilities in jeopardy by crippling the NRC and directing the agency to literally rubber stamp, quote, rubber stamp nuclear projects to get them done as soon as possible. We should be asking whether or not the country or even the nuclear power industry really benefits from a lot of the administration's wholesale attack on the people and rules that make America's independent, nonpartisan nuclear safety regulators the envy of the world. The Trump administration should ask itself whether it wants to be responsible for big disasters that could happen. When we talk about Fukushima, what happened in Hanford, when we can instead expand our nuclear power capacity without exposing Americans to more danger. Instead of rubber stamping new reactors, we should be looking at promoting innovative ideas. How can we use modeling and simulation to strengthen the licensing applications and safely streamline the process for proven standardized technologies? I hope that today, along with our witnesses, we can shed light on smart next steps that don't involve burning to the ground the structures that keep us safe. Oftentimes when we talk about streamlining and making things faster, the knee-jerk reaction is, well, let's get rid of a lot of the regulations that have kept Americans safe for years and years and years, which can put communities, especially small communities that don't have the resources and the big lawyers to be able to advocate on their own behalf against big nuclear companies, puts them at risk and takes power away from especially small communities across the country. Instead of that being the knee-jerk reaction, how about looking at how we can streamline our processes? I would suggest that our next hearing on this topic also include a witness from the Department of Energy's Nuclear Energy Advanced Modeling and Simulation Program and the Oak Ridge Advanced Modeling and Oak Ridge National Lab to talk about their work in bringing technology to bear on how to safely accelerate the process of deploying advanced nuclear energy technologies. Also, maybe no one from the Trump administration is here to defend its policies because they know that a lot of the things they've done to cripple the NRC are indefensible. And in the words of a former commissioner chairman, Trump's actions are, quote, a guillotine to the nation's nuclear safety system, end quote. And I think this is really important. It could actually do nuclear a huge disservice in deregulating up the wazoo just to rubber stamp stuff and move it forward. Something happens, it can put us back decades and decades and decades, especially when we talk about public opinion, which can already be fraught on subjects like this. When I agree, we do need to move faster, but we have to move faster in a very careful way. And so we should be looking at how we can keep our nuclear project approval process strong, but we also have to put the working people of this country above greed and folks who are threatening to poison our nuclear power industry for decades to come by taking too many steps back. And so I hope we can have that holistic view of this issue in this hearing, but also as we move forward. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.